NFL fans, welcome back to the J All Day Sports Show. In today's episode, we're going to break down the Dallas Cowboys schedule. I'm going to give you my win-loss prediction for all 17 games. I think Cowboys fans may be a little bit disappointed, but I think there's room for improvement, and I have where the low is and where the high is for their win total, and if they could potentially be a playoff team. There's a lot of craziness going on. That whole Jerry Jones situation yesterday, he was saying he's in no rush to get the CeeDee Lamb deal done. You better be, bro, because without CeeDee Lamb, you have no offense at all whatsoever. He is their entire offense. And if CeeDee Lamb wants to stick it to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, maybe he sits out a game. Maybe he sits out 2-3 games and ruins their chances to make the playoffs, because this dude is a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and he needs to be paid like one. I would rather them not re-sign Dak Prescott next year than not pay CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb can make a mediocre quarterback, getting $20, $30, $40 million a year, into a better quarterback than paying Dak Prescott $60 or $70 million. Let me know your thoughts on that situation in the comments below. Let's break down the schedule. All right, Dallas Cowboys fans, here is the schedule for 2024. We start on the road at Cleveland and at home against the Commanders. It's going to be tough sledding against this Cleveland Browns team to open up the year. Vegas currently has a 10.5 win total for the Dallas Cowboys. We going above that, we going below that. Let's break it down. The Cowboys, they're going to be starting 2 rookies on that offensive line to go up against Myles Garrett and company. It's going to be a really tough ask, in my opinion. I think Dak Prescott's going to get sacked 3, 4, maybe even 5 times in this game. And CeeDee Lamb's going to be covered by Denzel Ward, who only gave up a 49 rating against other teams' wide receivers. He's a really, really good corner, top 5 corner in the NFL, in my opinion. He's going to be locked on CeeDee Lamb all day long. And CeeDee Lamb hasn't practiced at all this preseason, so he's going to come out a little bit slow, I think, this year. That's why I think they start the season off with a loss. Then they play the Saints, who, in my opinion, are not very good. They lost their right tackle, Ramczyk, for the year. They only have one guy on their offensive line above a 50 PFF rating. They're pretty bad. Their offense isn't really good either. Kamara is getting old. Olave's banged up. Derek Carr sucks. They're going to win that game for sure. Then we got a really tough game. They got back-to-back home games, which is nice, against the Ravens. This game, in my opinion, can go either way. But the Ravens are very, very good, man. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, they're going to have a few games under their belt. I like the defense there. They got a new defensive coordinator, the Ravens do. I just think the Ravens win this game. And I think they lose this game. But this is a game that I could see going either way, right? This game could be either way. I'm on a coin flip right now for this game, but I'm going to call it a loss right now. Then the Giants on the road. This is a coin flip game too. The Cowboys just are not as good on the road, man. They're just not the same team. The Giants are not very good, especially the corner situation. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to ball out in this game. I look for the Cowboys offense to explode against the Giants defense. They did add Brian Burns, the pass rusher, to help Dexter Lawrence get after quarterbacks. The Giants did. And they drafted Malik Neighbors, so we'll see how Bland and company deal with Malik Neighbors. I'm going to go with this game being a win. And then we have another road game, back-to-back road games against the Steelers. Going to Pittsburgh and beating the Steelers is going to be a really tough ask, in my opinion. I think Justin Fields, if you're a Steelers fan, you probably want Justin Fields to win this spot, to be the starting quarterback. And the Steelers also have probably the best tandem pass rushers in the NFL with Highsmith and TJ Watt. I think this offensive line is going to struggle in this game. I'm calling this a loss. And then we got the Lions. They are playing at home, but the Lions are the best team in the NFC, in my opinion. This is a loss as well. So I think they're going to go 2-4 in their first 6. They very well could go 3-3. And if everything goes right, maybe they go 4-2, but I think that's a really, really tough ask to go 4-2 against the Browns, a division rival, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Lions. That would be an incredible start. I think 2-4, 3-3 is more realistic. Then, luckily for them, they have a bye in Week 7. Then they go on the road to play San Francisco. That's a loss as well. I know they're coming off a bye, but San Francisco is just so good. I think San Francisco goes 13-4, 14-3 this year, depending on what happens with the Brandon Ayuk situation. But they did draft Ricky Pearsall from Florida, who's one of the best wide receivers in this entire draft, in my opinion. I just love San Francisco. I think they're going to probably represent the NFC in the Super Bowl again. It's going to be a Lions-San Francisco kind of duel, in my opinion. Then we go on to the Falcons. They're on the road, but the Falcons are not very good. They do got Kirk Cousins, who's with Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts and Drake London. But the defense is just okay. The Falcons are, they got a pretty good offensive line, though. So if the Cowboys lost this game, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I'm going to chalk this up as a win. Then they got the Eagles, at home. I'm going that as a win. I think they match up pretty well with the Eagles. And then they have the Texans at home as well. They're not going to win both of these games. I think they're going to split these games either way. Maybe they beat the Eagles. Maybe they lose to the Eagles. Or, the Texans, I think they lose to the Texans and beat the Eagles. And then they're on the road at the Commanders. I'm going that as a win. I think they go 3-2 in this middle stretch of the season. If worst comes to worst, maybe they go 2-3 because they have only 2 home games and 3 road games. But I think 3-2 is realistic. I don't think they go 4-1 versus San Francisco, Atlanta, the Eagles, and the Texans. There's no way they're going 4-1, guys. So I think 3-2 makes more sense. So they're kind of be in that 5-6 kind of range, 6-5, going into the last stretch of the year. Then this last stretch, weeks 13 through 18, are a lot of winnable games. I have them winning against the Giants. I have them sweeping the Giants and the Commanders. So if they split any of those games, the record's going to be even worse. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and beating the bad teams in their division, the Giants and the Commanders, right? And then the Bengals, I'm going to give them a win there too because they're at home. The Bengals got to travel to Jerry's World. Primetime game on ESPN. It's going to be a really good game. These later games, it all depends who's healthy, right? But right now, I have them winning against the Giants, winning against the Bengals, winning against the Panthers, and then they have 2 really tough games, Tampa Bay and the Philadelphia Eagles. They got Tampa Bay at home, luckily for them, and then they got the Eagles. I think they lose both of these games, actually. But you could potentially see them splitting these games. So maybe they win one of them, and then they beat the Commanders. They could go 4-2 or 5-1 down the stretch. A lot has to go right for them to go 5-1 down the stretch. The Eagles are going to be in the playoff hunt. So is Tampa Bay. So are the Bengals, right? So to go 5-1 would be a huge ask. So I think the floor for the Cowboys this year is 9-8. And the best I think they can do is 10-7. And if everything goes crazy right, maybe they go 11-6. Maybe 11-6 is the floor, but I'm going 9-8. That's where I think the Cowboys are this year. Their running back room leaves a lot to be desired. They lost some depth on the D-line this training camp. And then there's a lot of... I don't think the locker room's really healthy right now, man. All these guys want crazy money. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and Dak Prescott. If they sign all 3 of those guys, it's like $120 million. I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to play for Jerry Jones. He's saying, I'm not in any rush to get this deal done. Well, you better be. If I'm CeeDee Lamb, I'm getting a little butthurt about that comment because he's their entire offense. And another reason why I think 9-8 is a realistic win total for the Cowboys is because they're 1 or 2 injuries away from being awful. Like if Dak Prescott gets hurt, Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, I watch them in training camp and they look horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. And then, God forbid something happens to CeeDee Lamb. There has been times where wide receivers have sat out all training camp and the preseason games, played the games and got hurt. I don't want that to happen. But if it happened, I wouldn't be surprised. And if CeeDee Lamb goes down, what are the Cowboys going to do for offense? Because they're not going to be able to run the ball effectively with old man Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's going to be tough sledding. And maybe if they bottom out this year at 9-8, 10-7, potentially miss the playoffs, we get a changing of the guard. Mike McCarthy's going to get fired. They don't bring Dak Prescott back. And I honestly think for the longevity of this team, drafting a quarterback might not be a horrible thing for the Cowboys moving forward. I'm an Eagles fan, and I like when the Cowboys are good because there's nothing better when the Cowboys, the Giants, and the Eagles are all good and all fighting for that NFC East crown. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think the Dallas Cowboys record will be this year? I can't wait to hear it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.